Hello, everyone. I hope you can all hear me well. So to start, first of all, I would like to thank everyone for joining our AITS webinar. For the people who are joining our webinar series for the first time, please allow me to just introduce myself. My name is Nader Al-Hamad, and I'm handling the channel and marketing in AITS. The session today is part of our Edge to Enterprise campaign for the food and beverage industry. I believe you already started receiving some materials, marketing materials about the same topic. So for today's webinar, I'm glad to have with me our Managing Director, Abdullah, who will be the presenter. He will be sharing with us today some insights for the food and beverage market and explaining the concept of smart factory from a software point of view and how Aviva Edge to Enterprise can help our customers transforming their operations and accelerating their digital transformation journey. So please feel free to type any question you have during the session in the question box, and we'll answer it by the end of this webinar. Now, I just wish you an informative session, and I will leave you in safe hands with Abdullah. Hi, Abdullah.
Hi, Nader. So, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. So, good afternoon, everyone. Excited for the weekend, honestly. Another webinar, a part of our food and beverage informative campaign that we've been conducting this month. Our topic today is going to be about, as Nader said, how to create a smart F&B factory. Everyone today is talking about digital transformation, digitalization. People have strategies, people might have piecemeal approach, etc. Our webinar today is to see how we can start, where we can start. We're gonna touch base on the industry challenges. Okay, like any business, like any industry, there are challenges, there are pain points that can be addressed. Some internal factors, some external factors, some market imperatives that need to be addressed and can be addressed using technology, of course, if we have the correct plan and the correct approach. So we're gonna speak a little bit about the approach, how we can target that, starting from definitely the business objectives, the business KPIs that we need to improve. We're gonna see key components of the smart factory concept, and at the end of the day, at the end of the presentation, sorry, we're gonna talk one slide about connected factories and what we mean by connected factories and what value it can add. So as I said, like in our world today, a fast changing world, even pre-corona, pre-COVID-19, we've been living in a very fast changing world. Technology is into everything, higher expectation of consumers, increasing pressure on the supply chain and the entire value chain. The market is disrupted. This is again post-COVID, let alone pre-COVID, let alone post-COVID. So the imperatives of growth, the business needs to grow, at the same time enhance profitability and ensure a sustainable profitability, as well as sustainability and environment, the healthfulness. They are all interconnected today. They need a new approach. Okay, well and good. Digital transformation is there. It's everywhere in the news, everywhere in international forums, and political agendas, economic agendas. But when it comes to us, let's say either a small local manufacturer or even the big manufacturers, how we can take all of this technology, we might be lost. What to do? How to choose the right technology, the services, the people who do that, because ultimately, in order for us to grow and be more profitable, more sustainable, we need to gain on the productivity side, productivity in our usage of the systems, productivity on with our workforce. We need to reduce waste. We need to minimize the resource of usage of resources, and of course, with such competitive landscape, ensure an on-time and in full-time delivery of quality and safe goods. This is today, if you ask any food and beverage manufacturer, he would tell you, I either have all of these objectives or at least part of them. And these are definitely an ongoing process, an improvement process that everyone has. This is something we know from our discussion on almost daily and weekly discussion we have with food and beverage customers across the region. So a little bit details about the challenges. If we speak about agility today, there is some study that has been used in the US that the introduction of a new product, there are newcomers that has jumped between 2000 and 2017, and this again 3 years ago, pre-corona, okay, jumped by 50%. So there are new players in the market introducing new products. Okay, so for existing businesses, and there are examples in the Middle East as well, and many products, products manufacturing and dairies and so on and so forth. There are many newcomers, you can say, in different regions, and also some other factors that are contributing to that. So, and the expectation also from consumers is higher. Manufacturers needs to be more agile, needs to rapidly accommodate to demand in terms of introducing a new product or packaging changes, fancy stuff, etc. All at the same time, minimizing the waste and losses, as we said at the beginning. In order for you to enhance profitability, you need to be more efficient and definitely minimize the losses. And some study as well says that out of every $1 billion of revenue in this industry, 50 million pounds of food is wasted. So, and the food waste, as you well know, it has direct impact on the cost as well as indirect impact. Indirect impact, especially for treating and waste treatment and the disposal. So this is all gonna put pressure on the bottom line, definitely. Another challenge, which is on the quality side and safety and compliance. This also has a direct cost, whether of the cost of production to produce good quality, 100% good quality. Okay, and not only that, the brand itself might be tarnished because of some bad packaging, maybe some bad quality product that was not captured well. You might be subject to regulatory scrutiny because of any bad product that's shipped to consumers. So there's a lot of pressure on that, and all the food and beverage producers today, they feel this heat and this pressure. And as we mentioned earlier, the productivity in terms of how we can increase the productivity, how we can work together more toward achieving objectives as a team of multiple departments in one factory, or as a team working in multiple factories across different operations, manufacturing operations, maintenance, manufacturing excellence, etc. So how systems can help us, okay, and help us as well with gaining more and better productivity from our workforce and our expertise on the ground. So if today you go to any F&B, you find different stakeholders, and this is normal. Okay, you find operations team, they have their own pains, their own objectives, quality, engineering, and definitely IT. Okay, we're talking here about IT systems, so IT will be definitely involved in this part. So operations, this is typical. This the operation director or a production director, his top KPI is to keep the cost of goods sold to a minimum. Okay, while ensuring a highly responsive and resilient supply chain. Okay, that is synced with demand. So and this is again agility in addressing some maybe an important customer for them requesting some extra sales order. They need to have possible systems that would allow them to do so. On the quality side, as we said earlier, it's mostly production companies, food companies are spending a lot on their brands, on in marketing, because consumer loyalty is number one, especially in a highly competitive landscape. Okay, so their interest include both cost of compliance and cost of non-compliance, consumer expectations, etc. So the quality has their own pain points as well. Going to engineering and people who deals more with the equipment as an equipment, the life cycle of the equipment, the uptime of the equipment, making sure that it's well maintained, it's highly efficient. Okay, especially for critical equipment that might be a bottleneck in production. For instance, a pasteurizer in a dairy plant, or a mixer, or any highly critical equipment in such operations, and of course the manufacturing IT. At the end of the day, in today's world, IT is not anymore the one who is the systems of ERP or SAP, etc. It is no longer the only IT in the plant. Manufacturing IT is from edge to enterprise. IT starts from getting the sensor connected to a TCP network, for example. So it's not anymore like the old days. Automation is one system, IT is another system. So manufacturing IT, okay, where to start, how to start, what to do, what are the investment, where do I put my dollars, what's the priority, to which system do I need to introduce or to upgrade or to replace. This is also an important factor that a CIO in a food plant would think of. Sorry. So if you study in a typical plant, again, some plants might be different, some plants are more advanced than others, but in generally speaking, when we say a smart factory, we want to go from one stage to another stage, whether we go fully or we go in a phased approach. Okay, so we want to go from a limited or siloed access to data. Believe me, today, based on our experience, there are plenty of equipment or of machines where it's very challenging to connect to those machines. So imagine not having the ability to get the data out of those machines. Those machines will be working in silos, you're working alone. And then whatever systems you put in IT or MES or anything, without the real data, you won't be able to achieve anything. Going from a large unexplained performance losses, okay, to consistent and optimal performance, whether production performance and asset performance. Okay, on the quality side, if you are keeping the quality records, they might be missing, it might be incomplete. To go into a complete evidence-based compliance. On the traceability side, and traceability is also one of the becoming an even more important factor that many food and beverage customers today around the region are asking for, because for any non-compliance of any product that goes to the market, has to be traceable, has to have all the where what was produced by who, which raw material, all the genealogy of this product, not only in manufacturing the process, from raw material, from receiving through the storage, and then transportation, etc. This whole traceability, you are talking about multiple stakeholders, different systems. So imagine doing this manually. So a smart factory, this cannot be, we cannot keep on doing this manually. On the experience of the people themselves, yes, you have operators, operation managers, maybe maintenance, people who are experienced, they know what to do in case of any event. But again, relying on their knowledge alone, without making sure that you capture this knowledge into systems, and then plus upgrade their skills and reskill them for the new system is also important in that. Avoiding costly mistakes. We all want to do that in our jobs. Okay, and the slow and complex new product introductions, as we said, again, you need customers, factories needs to be more agile, and they need to have the systems that would allow them to have automated recipes, labeled data, etc. But this is nice, well and good, really beautiful. But where to start? Okay, this is one of the mistakes that many of us do when we approach our food and beverage customers. That we go and talk to them about how beautiful the system is, how nice the feature, etc. We miss very important point, is what's the expected business outcome that Mr. Customer you have. What's your pain point? How we can add value? How we can solve this issue? And like we said, the challenge that we spoke about earlier. What do you want? Do you have them in full? Do you have them partially? Okay, so in terms of food safety and quality, everyone wants to achieve 100% compliance. Everyone wants to have first-time quality. So from first time, all the products 100% are good quality. Traceability, reducing the traceability time to the minimum. Here we're giving an example from 4 hours to 1 minute. It might differ from customer to another. Okay, some benchmark of on the utility side of a food plant, how to reduce the energy usage, the water, the steam, the gas, compressed air, how you capture this data. Okay, this is a KPI that they might need. Okay, on the operational side, asset efficiency. Okay, they might say, okay, I want to improve my OE by 20%. Today, I'm measuring my OE on papers. I am getting 90%, but I'm not sure. Is this correct? Not correct? How to do it? How can I capture it automatically? How systems can help me? Okay, I want to reduce my downtime by 50%, especially for critical equipment and bottlenecks. Okay, and I want to increase my throughput by 33%. Here again, we're talking about examples of expected business outcomes for any digital transformation strategy or digitalization, or taking a factory from being a traditional factory to a smart factory. Especially on another example on the workforce productivity. I want my the operators to be mobile, to have everything on mobile. Okay, to reduce the recall time from 2 hours, 2.5 hours to 10 minutes. So this is the starting point. Okay, in our discussion with our customers, this is where we start. We start by defining the business outcome. What do you want to achieve? Because as we said, this is big. Digital transformation is a buzzword. Okay, we've been doing this, by the way, for so many years. Sorry. So MES is not a new concept. ISA, they had all the definition. Sorry, MISA, they had all the definitions since many years now of MES. Digital workflow is not a new concept. Connectivity and data validation is not also a new concept. Connecting the shop floor to enterprise systems, again, not a new concept. What's new today is that everyone starts talking about it and in a very broad way. So this is how we approach it. We approach it basically to define, forget the buzzwords, forget for 1 second the word digital transformation. Let's see your business, what you need to improve and where. And then building the roadmap for that. Okay, the roadmap can start from edge to enterprise. So enhancements can be done from shop floor to the enterprise system, from level 1 to level 4. Okay, to define, I might invest $1 million on implementing an MES system, but I might fail in connecting to my sensors or connecting my PLCs because simply my PLCs are legacy systems. Okay, so am I well automated? Am I well digitalized on the edge? What do I need to do on the edge? Do I have to replace all my PLCs, or there are other ways using IIoT, using IoT devices, edge devices to connect? Okay, I connected. How can I make sure that I am, first of all, having the ability to control and monitor the entire plant? Some customers definitely, especially on the batch and dairies, for instance, they have control rooms, but plenty of other customers, they manage production lines, individual production lines. Okay, so connecting these production lines into one central data repository is important. Having visibility and monitoring and controlling the entire plant from a single platform. And not only that, making sure that the data that I'm collecting is a validated data. Okay, why? Because at the end of the day, I will end up in my historians with millions of data points. And those millions of data points, I would use them. I would use them in asset performance. Okay, I would use them to in pattern recognition, and I'm going to speak a little bit more about that in later slide. I want to use them in my KPIs. Okay, so if I put the business objectives earlier that I want to reduce, I want to enhance my IOE and my uptime, for example. How can I make sure that the formula that I have in my MES system that's supposedly working well is getting the correct data from the PLC? So this is also super important and a cornerstone. Another aspect is, as we said, talking about how can I use this data to enhance my asset performance. Manufacturing operations, automating those manufacturing operations, which is pretty much the traditional MES that we know about. Okay, and the OEE, overall equipment effectiveness, and overall line efficiency, the productivity of my entire production line or even my entire plant. Okay, and quality and safety of the finished goods. This is part of quality, operations, and performance. Okay, not only that, the entire operations management, if I'm running multiple factories, if I'm running, as I said earlier, multiple production lines, okay, how can I ensure that I don't work in silos? Okay, so yes, I digitalized maybe individual production lines, and then I digitalized, I have everything done ready, individual plants, but I might be a producer who's producing in multiple plants. Not only that, I might have the farm, I have my inventory systems, I have my transportation systems. So this is overall approach to integrate the entire operations management. Okay, so entire operations and manage it well, not only the manufacturing itself, is also a part of my strategy. So again, starting from shop floor, going to the enterprise through a phased approach, ensuring that my shop floor is ready for the journey is important. So you would imagine how would it look like? Yani, I think this is here like, oh, it's so complicated. It might look like as a chaotic environment, but no. This is a smart factory. Smart factory where every point is connected, everyone is there's no information silos, there's no people silos, everyone is working harmonically, though it might look complicated, but this is how where we want to reach ultimately if we're talking about digitally transforming our operations. Okay, to simplify it a little bit on this side, it's nothing but, as I mentioned earlier, is nothing but connecting to PLCs. So monitoring and control is one cornerstone. Managing the operation is another cornerstone. Asset performance is the third cornerstone. And as I said, the workflow, the entire workflow among all these systems is important. So having a unified operation center for a food and beverage plant, where, and maybe if you can imagine it physically, one central control room where you have all your team sitting in that control room working on unified interfaces and having all their KPIs, all the engineering tools that they need, all the data that they need at hand, okay, physically on the ground there, or on a mobile, or on a cloud. This is ultimately the goal. A little bit about operations management, just to refresh your memories about when we speak operations management, we speak manufacturing execution systems. I'm not going to go into a lot of details here because this is on its own as a webinar, honestly. But refreshing, the MES in general is managing the execution, so managing the operations of my manufacturing processes, okay, managing the quality and managing the performance. So these are three key pillars in an MES. When we say about when we say operations, managing operations is managing the production orders, so the planning or scheduling the work orders and executing them, okay. On the managing the inventory, received goods and received raw materials in the inventory, the work in progress, the production, the produced goods, the final good that's to be shipped. Here again we say this is one system, one all digitally recorded digital systems. Traceability is an important factor, as I mentioned earlier, in any MES system, to trace materials, to trace work in progress, and track and trace back anything that is happening in producing any finished good. Quality by having managing the bill of materials, and it depends. For instance, in this example, master data, and maybe in 90% of the examples, master data is in the ERPs. Okay, so all of the recipes, bill of material are there, but the ERP will not give me all the to be the execution part of this. So I need a recipe manager, a digital recipe manager, to be, and we have given, if you can go back to previous recordings, we have spoken in separate webinar about the digital batch management and how important it is in these examples. The sampling rates and quality, the SPC sampling and SPC compliance is also one factor in MES. Okay, and as we mentioned earlier, performance, which is composed of OEE, overall equipment effectiveness, and APM, and I'm gonna touch base on the APM in the next slide. And today's how maintenance is maintenance management is being is evolving. It's going from just being a reactive maintenance, nothing is happening until the equipment breakdown. Okay, To preventive maintenance, we go and do some preventive checks on critical assets, routine checks, so to speak. To condition-based maintenance. Condition-based maintenance is one-to-one relationship between certain data, okay, running hours or certain alarm or certain event that's happening with a particular asset, particular equipment, and accordingly I take some action. I either go do preventive maintenance or I execute certain work orders based on certain conditions. That's why it's called condition-based maintenance. It's one-to-one relationship. It's one reading to one work order, etc. It evolved even more to predictive maintenance, and predictive maintenance is what-if scenarios. It's a comprehensive model that is more a pattern recognition, recognizing pattern and recognizing failure and predicting this failure before it happens. Take into consideration the, for example, in a pasteurizer, you might be monitoring 12 data points, temperatures, I don't know, vibrations, several data points that you monitor, and all of these data is being historized. So you end up in 6 months with millions of data points and a historian. Okay, so how you would correlate that and understand some failure pattern from previous failure or from the performance data, theoretical data that is prescribed to this particular asset. So from this perspective, you would be able to correlate and learn. So this is a machine learning part of it. Learn. So, but the system in this case would tell you, hey, be careful, there's something wrong that might happen, but it would not tell you what to do. There's no intelligence more than telling you that there is system failure that might happen. The prescriptive part, okay, of maintenance, which is now today the most advanced part, is it would tell you, hey, there's something wrong happening, and here's what you need to do. This is a possible breakdown, and this is what you need to do to solve it. This is a cure. Okay, so this is more of intelligence, artificial intelligence. The system is intelligent enough, like any human being, to know what to do in a fast way. So this again, protecting your mixers, your blenders, your pasteurizers, your ovens, and any critical equipment that you might think that this is important, that I manage their performance very well. Coming to the last slide, I think I still have 1 minute. So we digitalized. We have very advanced factories, very advanced individual systems, but part to say that we are digital as a producer, we need to live in a single world, one world. We need to get connected factories, connected farms, connected supply chain, connected factories. Okay, and cloud here is a very key component, very key player in this, and we have seen many customers around the region started adopting more and more cloud strategy and cloud connected to the shop floor, definitely by following proper cybersecurity compliance, and there are architectures that we can speak about, and we spoke about earlier in previous as well, previous webinar by Tamim. There are many of architecture that you can say, but cloud is the way to go if you want to have, let's say, a one unified overview of what's happening across your value chain, from the farm to your delivery truck. It is it is the technology is there, and this is how you reach a full operations management, as we mentioned earlier. So in brief, you need to have the proper strategy, okay, and the starting point is defining your business objective. Where are my pain points? What do I need to do? Where do I need to start? Okay, what do I need to enhance? And then you study your systems. As I said, your systems must be studied beginning with the edge, beginning with your PLCs, beginning with your sensors, and see how ready they are. Okay, then your systems. Before digitalizing your processes, study those processes, how you can enhance them, at least on papers first, then go digital, okay, and so on and so forth. So happy to take questions if there's any.
Thanks, Abdullah. So as you have mentioned at the beginning, I believe that our audience agreed that this is really an exciting topic. To be frank, your slides made the concept clear and smooth. But let's just give a few minutes to hear from the audience. If you have, please, ladies and gentlemen, any question or clarification, feel free to type it in the question box. In the meanwhile, Abdullah just wanted to remind everyone that they can find all our webinar recordings on our YouTube channels. So our YouTube channels and the LinkedIn platform, everything, the link for subscribing and following are existing now in the chat area. As well, wanted to just remind everyone that we'll be having an Arabic version webinar for the same topic. The Arabic version webinar will be on Sunday. It's dedicated for our Arabic speaking customers and partners. So the link for registration as well is there in the chat box. You can just fill it with your colleagues if you want to be part of it. Back to the questions, Abdullah, so far. The first question, is manufacturing IT different from OT, operational technologies? So they are talking about the difference between IT and OT.
Yeah, it depends on the definitions that different customers adapt, but it's more or less the same thing. Okay, but manufacturing IT is more broader. So from operation perspective, yes, you can say. So the depends on the application. Okay, the LIMS, okay, is let's say an OT. Okay, how about the ERP? ERP can be used for many aspects outside the typical operation technology. Okay, in HR and finance, etc. Some part of it is considered OT. Some like CMMS systems are OT systems. It depends. So we saw different customers dealing with it in different things, but manufacturing IT is a broader definition of OT.
Okay. Let me wait for the other question, but in the meanwhile, Abdullah, let me ask a question that we used to receive whenever we have such webinar topic big, like the Edge to Enterprise and Smart Factory. If a customer wants to proceed with the transformation and to turn his factory into a smart one, where he should start, regardless wherever, for example, he stands on the digital transformation ladder, can he just start his transformation?
Business imperative is number one. Business defining the business objectives as the number one start. If I want to implement a digital workflow, for example, this is one part of my my overall strategy. All right, what would I gain from that? What pain points would I solve? What improvement can I have? So it all starts from the business imperatives. If you go back, if I go back to the first slide, sorry. Okay, if I go back to this slide, the CEO, the CFO needs to, as we said, to grow the business. They need to become more profitable. and at the same time, they need to ensure that they are sustainable. Okay, environmentally sustainable, and as a business, they are also sustainable. Okay, one layer down, then I go and define, okay, how can I increase profitability? But is it by increasing productivity? Is it by reducing waste, minimizing resource usage, operation efficiency, asset efficiency? Where do I start? So this is what the starting point. Defining my business objective from this, and then going one layer down and seeing how good I am doing now, and what are the areas of improvement that I can do from adopting this technology, or let's say this system or that system. Not from vendor perspective, I'm talking from a functionality perspective.
Okay, clear, Abdullah. I believe so far these are the questions that we received. I hope everything was understandable for everyone. Abdullah, thank you so much for your time today and for the slides. I want to thank everyone for joining, for the participation as well. And as discussed, we will meet with them always with a new webinar topic soon. Till that time, I wish everyone to stay safe and stay connected. Thank you, Abdullah, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.